The news in Nigeria today is that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, caused the arrest of more than 70 students of Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife in a night raid that was carried on by the anti-graft agency. And this has been in the talking point. That this has been the talking point in Nigeria and I think across the world for a number of hours now. And there are legal issues arising from this arrest, and which is why I am making this video. By the way, Obafemi Awolowo University is one of the oldest institutions of learning in Nigeria. It was founded by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, then Premier of the Western region of Nigeria. Obafemi Awolowo was a lawyer, a senior advocate of Nigeria, and a lover of education. And in his penchant for education, in his love for education, he founded that institution. And for several years now, long after his death, that institution has been at the forefront of the training of manpower for Nigeria, for Africa, and even for the world. The institution has always been in the news for the right reason. But this time around, the name of the institution went into the news space for the wrong reason. And that wrong reason is that up to 70 students of that institution were arrested by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in a night raid on allegation of Yahoo business, what Nigerians call Yahoo boys, Yahoo business, on allegation of using the computer to manipulate the internet and then defraud people and do all manner of unacceptable things using the internet. I do not know how true this allegation is, whether the EFCC has investigated this very fine before embarking on this. But the question here is, does the law allow a security agency like the EFCC to raid a public building or a private building at night and cause the arrest of persons? The answer is yes. It is within the law for the EFCC to embark on the raid of a building so as to prevent the commission of crime or to stop people from continuing to commit crime. In that way, the law allows the EFCC to go into the building at any time. It mustn't be in the morning hours. It mustn't be in the afternoon hours. It can be at night. It can be any time, any convenient time that the EFCC or any other security agency feels is most appropriate to go in and then get the person arrested for purpose of making him face the law. But there are some serious legal questions here. Did the EFCC get an arrest warrant before embarking on that raid? This question is important because the law requires that before any security agency can go into the premises of students or any other person living in the premises, can go in by force, then the security agency needs to get an arrest warrant. They need to get a search warrant and also get an arrest warrant. That search warrant would allow the security agency to go in by some application of force where there is resistance. So if the EFCC, for instance, or the police, they come to the premises and say, we are policemen, we have a search warrant, come and open the door for us, and they use the megaphone to say that, and nobody comes out to open the door for them, then the law allows them to use minimal force, reasonable force, to break into the building and get the person arrested for purpose of facing the law. But before you do that, you must have a search warrant duly issued by a court of law of competent jurisdiction. If you do not have a search warrant, then what you have done is contrary to the law, irrespective of the reason. No matter how good the intention is, if you do not have a search warrant, as a security agency, you cannot break into somebody's house like that. If you do that, then you have offended the law. It takes back to the question on the issue under discussion. Did the EFCC obtain a search warrant from a court of law of competent jurisdiction before embarking on the raid on the students' hostel in Obafemi Awolowo University? If the answer is no, then the EFCC has gone against the law. And such action of the EFCC is unacceptable to the law, it's unlawful, and it is actionable. So the EFCC must be sure that it is armed with a search warrant and also an arrest warrant before they could have embarked on that kind of night raid where lots of students were arrested. Now, the magistrate or the High Court judge is not just expected to sign arrest warrant or search warrants because an application has been made by the EFCC. No, EFCC is also under the law. And therefore, before an arrest warrant is signed, before a search warrant for night raid is signed by the magistrate or by the magistrate or the judge must be satisfied that the signing of such warrant has become necessary. The magistrate or the judge must be satisfied that the EFCC cannot go and invite those people to come to their offices ordinarily, and they will come. Must be satisfied that these people cannot be arrested in the daytime. Must be satisfied that it is only by night raid that these persons can be arrested. Until the magistrate or the judge is so satisfied, then the magistrate or the judge will not just append signature and sign arrest warrant for the arrest, for the break-in, by the EFCC and the arrest of the citizens of the country. Why the law requires all these points to get satisfied with is the fact that every citizen of the country, irrespective of the allegation against him, irrespective of the suspicion against him, has rights protected by the Constitution, one of which is the right to personal liberty. And so when you force yourself into the person's residence and arrest the person, you have violated that right to personal liberty. Every person, every student has a right to privacy of where he is living, private family life. And so when the EFCC moves in forcefully into the person's residence, the person's constitutional rights to private family life is violated. But fundamental rights can be violated for purpose of prevention of crime. But before that can be done, there has to be an arrest warrant, there has to be a search warrant duly issued by a court of law of competent jurisdiction before the EFCC can do that. The students that were wrongly arrested, they have a right to go to court and challenge the arrests. They have a right to go to the court and talk about the violation of the fundamental rights and challenge the EFCC and urge the court to order the EFCC to pay damages for them for violation of their fundamental rights. When that is done, if the EFCC does not have a superior argument in court, then the EFCC certainly will have to pay for any wrongful arrest of the students of that institution or of any other person who may have gone there to spend time with his or her friend. But above all, the law allows the EFCC to move into the premises where people are living and then cause the arrest of persons who have been suspected to be committing crime or plotting to commit crime. But the law requires that the EFCC, in exercising that right, must obtain due warrants, search warrants in this case, to go in at night, and arrest warrant to arrest those that have been suspected of the commission of crime. It is my prayer as a Nigerian citizen that we should borrow what's happening from outside Nigeria. There are instances where the FBI will not have to raid anybody. They gather needed intelligence, and then they rain in on the person. They don't even need to go at night. They don't even need to break anywhere. They just come, put a ring around the person, and the person surrenders. I wish Nigeria, I wish the EFCC is able to grow to that extent of sophistication in intelligence gathering where students would not be raided. I'm sure most of those students are innocent. Some may not be. I hope that we grow to that sophistication where, in the course of preventing crime, we don't get to arrest innocent people in a mass raid. I hope we get to that situation, that point of sophistication as a country, as security agencies in Nigeria, where people will not be arrested, even at night or anyhow, but upon proper gathering of intelligence information, and then putting a ring around the persons to be arrested, and in that process, innocent persons will not be arrested. The coming days will let us know exactly what's going to happen, whether the EFCC will arraign these people in court or whether the EFCC will let them go, and whether these persons will challenge this arrest in courts of law of competent jurisdiction. I wish my country well, as always. This is me, your friend and your host, Keminudium, asking you to subscribe to this channel so that together we can sit down like this and discuss the issues of law and learn from them to be able to guide us in our everyday living. Many thanks.